Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Andrea, do you want to just introduce yourself really quick?
Absolutely. I'm Andrea from Edmonton, Alberta. I own a business called Elementum. I'm a registered massage therapist and I'm also a movement practitioner. I know Janis through Yamana Body Rolling. She was one of my instructors in February.
Amazing. All right. So what I really wanted to do today was jump on here and talk about where we've been. We're both business owners that kind of had all of this COVID-y moment placed over our head and where we're going and how we can help kind of with some of those feelings and sensations in the body that people are experiencing. So first thing that kind of jumped out at me was both of us are Capricorns and we both had a very Capricorn response to this, which was, let's do this. So, I mean, I was online within 3 hours of closing my business. You were hot to trot on the heels. So tell us the little story about how a massage therapy business ended up online and what that entails.
Yes. So I think I'm lucky and in a unique position because I also already taught movement and that was a good chunk of my business. But so I closed on March 17th, about 10 days before we were actually ordered by the government to close all non-essential massage. Unfortunately, non-essential, my friends. And so I had a couple days of like pity party, but then I was like, I have my regular Saturday class scheduled to run. Does anyone want to do it online? And everyone's like, me. And I had like over 35 people on that call. I had a chat with you to kind of be like, tell me about the Zoom technology. Like, what even was Zoom before this happened? I never used it. I FaceTime people or Google Hangout, but I'm like, what is a Zoom? So that was really great. That reaction really prompted me to decide to dive into the online world. And I joke all the time, I'm like, I live on the internet now. So that made me want to make more classes. It made me want to offer more classes. I put Yamana Body Rolling online shortly thereafter, had Night Moves up, which is a new kind of like wind down self-care, self-massage class, and then started creating self-massage videos. And then I'm home with a partner and he was, gracious enough to be in the videos and be like, can I give you a neck massage and explain how to do this to people online? And he's like, yep.
That's awesome.
Totally. So I've always been someone similarly to you who, yes, you can come to me for massage treatments. Yes, come to me for classes, but I exist to help give you the tools to take care of yourself. And so this time has been a beautiful time for me to really develop those resources and be like, here. You want it, you've got it. Do it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about tools,
yeah.
What I see out there right now, I've reached out to somewhere between 50 and 100 people in the last 2 days. Just ask a simple question. How are you? How are you keeping? And, we're something like 8 or 9 weeks, I lose track eventually, into this. And what actually surprised me a little bit was that people are still really in it. So we still have a lot of stress. We still have a lot of uncertainty. We still have a lot of anxiety. We still have a lot of big feelings out there. So I know that both of us are doing the same kinds of work. Neither of us are psychologists. Neither of us are clinicians in that matter. But people bring their emotions into the class. That's often why they're actually there. And people also are carrying emotions around in their body. So we can't do our job unless we're actually helping people self-regulate. Do you want to just chat about how you are doing that in particular?
Absolutely. The biggest thing I've noticed is that people need to breathe. And we all think we know how to breathe, and we don't. And when we're not exhaling, we're just like, and so a lot of my work, if I kind of step back and look at it, it's so much about exhaling. Yeah, our body will naturally inhale, but if we're not also pushing that air out, it's not going to go so well. So there's been lots of breath work. I'm cueing breath more than I ever have. Like I have Pilates training, which is all like inhale, prepare, exhale, move, right? But like even more so. And then just offering all of that again, as an Instagram live, or not live video, Instagram TV. So it's there as well. People will reach out and say, I'm feeling XYZ. Can you help me with this? I'm like, pew, pew, pew. Here's some videos. And then just always maintaining the message that, no matter how you're feeling, you're still a wonderful person. You're doing a great job. None of us know how to do this, and how to come back to self and just be like, hi, I know how to take care of myself. It's okay. I can comfort myself, and just reminding people that they have the power to actually do that.
I think that it's also a moment where we are human as much as our clients are.
Totally, please.
This situation for me kind of came to a head in mid-April. I sort of realized that yesterday when I'm kind of combing through my emails and the abandoned, Facebook Messenger messages, that I was really on top of it until kind of mid-April. And then there was just a 2-week moment. It just felt like my head was in a little vice grip and we tighten.
Yep.
But I'm able to take all of the skills and tools that I've used with clients and just reconnect, reevaluate, reground. And very much to your point, it really comes down to breathing. I drink green smoothies. It's like that healthy nutrition where it's boring. I go for walks. I put on my Fitbit. And these are not really complicated techniques. So what I'm actually also seeing out there, I got a bunch of these messages today, and I really understand where it comes from. We had a lot of really Instagram-y messaging that this is this beautiful moment of space. I've heard this called a pause, and that we're all supposed to be building memories and we're supposed to be working on all of these life goals and hobbies. So I think that there's a lot of guilt and shame that maybe we haven't either ignited a fitness passion or that we haven't maintained what we were doing before. So you and I might sit in kind of a wheel where we do this for a living. There are days, I'm not going to lie, if I didn't have to get down to my mat and demonstrate this would not have happened over here.
Yeah.
So then we're asking members of the general public to kind of make this a moment where we're supposed to be more fit than ever and using this moment to pause and revisit everything related to our body.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing that, and how are you addressing that?
Yeah, so I see it constantly and I just dismiss it. I don't even give it a second of pause. I'm like, bye. And I just keep on going. And I've always tried to keep my messaging like that way. I've always said to people, they're like, I've always wanted to take a class with you. I'm like, wonderful. Whenever you're ready or able to, I will be here. I don't for a second want anyone to feel bad about anything that's going on right now, because all of this is horrible in so many ways, And yes, there are little grains of sand and moments that are wonderful, but overall, this is very difficult for each and every one of us. And like you were saying, 2 weeks ago, you're just like, oh, the bottom fell out, right? There were days a couple weeks ago as well where like I couldn't get out of bed. And, I think because we are those practitioners, we're like, this shouldn't happen to us, but we're human.
Absolutely. In fact, I can't remember when we first talked. We did another interview that didn't quite make it to air. And I can't remember when that was, but both of us kind of had that moment. And that was probably around the same time frame.
Yeah.
So I found that there's kind of ebbs and flows to this. And sometimes it feels like I got it. And other times it feels like I definitely don't have it.
Absolutely. And I think we spoke at the beginning of April, right? Or something around that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, about a month out. I was chatting with another RMT today who's also an occasional yoga instructor. She's like, good for you for putting yourself out there. I've really listened to my call to turn inwards and like get off of the internet, pull back from social media. And in the last couple of days, like I have serious imposter syndrome feelings, or like my critic gets really loud and is just like, what you're doing doesn't matter. Or like you should or like, I worry about how I look on a video. And I'm like, shut the up. This is what I love. This is my life's work. Just keep doing it when it makes me feel good. Like I don't have to post something every day. And if I feel icky about it, well, then I can log out of Instagram.
100%. So I find that this is a moment, not that I ever wasn't this way, but I'm relating much more to the humanity of my clients' lives. I feel like it is on some level an equalizer where we're not all having the same experience, but there's elements of this situation that have reminded me what it is to be in a place where the last thing I want to do is Yamuna body rolling or yin. And as an instructor, that really isn't usually the case.
Yeah.
I'm like the evangelist for these things, right?
Yes, totally.
And so putting myself into that scenario where I really feel the difference between how scattered I am before a practice that I don't even want to be doing versus after, and really taking, as you said, taking people and myself back into the breath, back into grounding into the mat.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I actually love the most right now about Yamuna is that element where we become dead weight on the ball, where we just literally can't relax anymore, because it's actually taking me effort to do that when I demonstrate. And so just coming back to those really basic pieces of the work that we teach.
Yeah.
So what else are you sharing with clients that is really making a difference for people? Why are they coming to you, and what are they getting out of that? For sure.
I think because they get almost everything and anything they ever wanted to know, and then a little bit more than they wanted to know.
I want to contextualize that by saying that you're the only person that I've ever met that took a manual for an instructor training and put tabs, color-coded them, read every word, and provided some good feedback to typos in the manual. So I am very confident that of anyone I've ever met, you are definitely giving them what they need to know and a little more.
Yes. Someone will be, I've had, people are like, oh, I have, like, my hips are doing this, this, and this. And when people come to me with questions, I think they think that my answers are going to solve them, but they have to remember that they have to do the work. I can't do it for you this time, right? Correct. So, they come, they ask a question, I'm like, I ask a bunch more questions, or I jump on a phone call with them. And people have been loving that. I'll be like, okay, I could spend 30 minutes typing you, right? Do you want to jump on a Zoom call? And I think that immediacy, seeing a different face, talking to someone different has been really helpful for them. I've also done quite a few different one-on-ones. So last night I did a couples breathwork stretching session around anxiety, which was really neat. I've done a couple one-on-one body rolling workshops. And then with all of this stuff, because it's through Zoom, I'm able to record it and then I give that to them.
Amazing.
Yeah. So just them being able to be like, what was that stretch she did? And they're like, zzz, and then they can rewatch it and they can hear me explain it to them again.
I think that's actually really important now. I mean, I find the same thing where I use both Facebook and Zoom to deliver my digital content. And when we're in heightened panic, stress, whatever this is, chaos, I don't even know what the words are, but when we're in this moment, we don't retain information. Brain is in fight or flight. So we need to actually have those extra tools, and that digital advantage is here because it's better than kind of scribbling it on a piece of paper or, like you said, typing out an email. We can just provide that content for rewatch, which is super wicked awesome.
Totally.
So what do you think is next for you? We were talking right before we hit the record button about this Alberta rephase situation.
Yeah.
I'm phase 3. Yeah. I think it's a little murky, but I think because I'm zoned as a fitness facility. So my little postage stamp private studio is phase 3. So I'm not really yet having conversations with clients about re-entering the space, because basically my space is going to be when the cow jumps over the moon, then we shall open the doors. You're a zone 2er. So what are we doing?
I am doing nothing right now for my own mental health and safety. So April 30th and May 1st, they had the announcements. And then the onslaught of emails and text messages began. And I get it. I miss you, clients. I love you. I want to help you 100%. Elementum will reopen. It will. but not right now. And so I ended up closing our entire booking system down. You cannot book or pre-book an appointment at all. I also issued statements on all the social medias and my website, just being like, look, there's not enough information. According to what's going on in Saskatchewan and early documents, like I need goggles, I need a face mask or a face shield, I need an apron. Anything and everything a client touches in my space has to be sanitized, it has to be cleaned and disinfected. A disinfectant to work needs to be wet on a surface for 10 to 15 minutes.
You know? So, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I mean, I used to cycle in a mask, and I can think of nothing that I would actually personally rather less make my clients do than exercise in a mask.
Yep.
It's just, I did it at one point in my life, and there was a reason I did it, and it wasn't COVID, obviously, but it's just a really unpleasant experience at every level. And I actually find that human touch at this moment, I can actually deliver better on video. I can make eye contact, not that I can't make eye contact with a mask, but there's a lot to be said for the value of a smile and not spooking through something that's covered up. Right?
Yeah, the risk is just so great. And so I have made a personal decision that regardless, because phase 2 only happens when we see what happens with phase 1, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe that could be June 1, but I've made a resolution that there is absolutely no way we would open any sooner than June 1. And that's not even a firm date, right? That's a speculative date. And that's only if I have every single thing I need, because it's not just me. I also have a subcontractor massage therapist who works with me as well. And to actually understand and implicate all of like the waiting room procedures. Like we have public washrooms in the building, like who's cleaning those? Are the handles getting sanitized every single moment?
Exactly. What about that? Ours has a keypad, so
right.
You have to touch it to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know where the cleaner for that is. What's happening in the afterworld for your digital life?
So it's always been my goal, and it's been requested several times by students and clients to actually have on-demand content similar to what you're doing. So I'm in the very early embryonic stages of developing an actual online program and branding it completely differently so that this is the start of it. It started in COVID. Sorry?
Amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's, it's like established 2020, C19. Yeah, and then it will exist as another part of, the Andrea empire, and just kind of exist on its own and just be very more planned out, intentional, like not that what we're doing and what I'm doing is thoughtful, but just instead of being like, like fire and then ready, aim. Like I'm going to do an aim, ready, fire kind of rollout with a proper launch and that kind of thing. So I
that's
think
fair. I had a moment, and it's kind of past, but where I was getting a little edgy about the word pivot, because we all use that and we celebrate that as a success story. You pivoted your business. But what was really going on behind the scenes that business owners were never talking about was pivot implies quick. And yes, we were there quickly, but the back end of everything, at least in my world, was actually a mess. So to the clients, it looked like everything was pivoted, but back here, there was dead bodies in the room because the speed of that was to take a business that is bricks and mortar and turn it into a digital business in 3 hours. You have to leave some dead bodies in the room. It looks ugly back there. I didn't have the right software. I didn't have the right lists. I didn't have the right anything because that wasn't how my business was structured. And so we all took something that, it would take a reasonable human, even in a small business our size, 2 months to kind of strategize and build out. And we were doing that in less than 2 weeks. Yeah. So I'm with you. It all came together and some of that has passed, but now we actually all are in the position where we're looking at what is working and what we can retain. In my case, I want to keep that digital element. I started Facebook Live classes in 2018, and then I briefly removed them in 2019. 2010, 2020, back with you. I actually love delivering content that way. It really works for my audience because we have live classes. You can log in. There's, light interaction, but you're still in the privacy of your own home. So you can roll, you can yin, you can pilote in your home. So it's great for people that actually want off schedule or privacy or don't like group classes. They don't want to be in a gym. But then it's also available on demand. So that content is something people can do multiple times a week. I have a 5-day-a-week yin class that I record every morning. I've actually basically invited people into my own private yin practice, which I did by myself. Now I narrate it. And then I have a 3-day-a-week Yamuna body rolling on demand class. And I love it because it's actually allowing me to teach the content at the speed and with the variety that I really think is so beneficial for people. So in a class setting, I always felt like we kind of had to stay at a certain level because we are only meeting once a week. But when I can give 3 times a week content, we can go deeper, we can add variety, we can do multiple routines on the quads instead of kind of, oh, this person doesn't have this ball, or we don't want to stay there for as long as we probably ought to because it's going to eat up a huge chunk of time. In online, in digital, I can really deliver that in a way that, that's a slow body of work. So is yin. Yes. We're holding these body parts for a good long time. So I'm keeping those.
Yes.
I'm keeping those.
Absolutely.
So are you going to be doing live classes when you resume?
Maybe. Night Moves is the evening class, like the self-care evening class. I do not ever want to go to a studio at 8 p.m. to teach it. That
Fair enough.
Will probably never see the light of a studio on purpose.
Yeah.
So that very possibly, even doing it in, let's pretend everything goes back to the way it was before this happened. Let's pretend. I'm going to go back to teaching in the studio, but the amount of people I'm reaching right now is profound. And it is so cool to do this online because, for example, I have moms and daughters, the daughters maybe my age-ish. I was like, Mom, you'd love this class. So they both log in together and then they have something to talk about. Or one of my really good friends, her best friend lives in Boston. They're doing the Saturday class together. People have called in from Australia and Japan,
I actually love how, I'm going to make a little bit of a sexist statement, but typically most of my Yamuna body rolling attendees in real life are female.
Yes.
And they're typically trying to get their male partner to do this. And they're often successful because they kind of take it home and they sort of interpret it and show their husband or their boyfriend or partner, their son. Mm-hmm. And the gentleman will do it. But now that we have an on-demand content library, I find that there's a lot of couples or families that include the opposite gender doing it together.
Yes.
Which is so awesome.
It is very, very cool. It was funny. I think one of my first slow and low classes, someone in the chat box is like, I'm turning off my video because it's the only way my partner will do this with me.
Yes. Which I love that too, because there are a lot of people, I've always described myself, and this has nothing to do with COVID. Yeah. I'm really speaking to the 85 to 90%, just small part of the population that doesn't go to the gym. Because at the end of the day, by the time you're our age or older, if you had an interest in having a gym membership, you would have a gym membership. At some point in your life, you've probably been in a gym, you've definitely been exposed to gym culture, and you've certainly been saturated to oversaturated with messaging about why you should be in the gym. Yeah. So at the end of it, I'm not dealing with people that actually want to be in a traditional gym setting. Yeah. And there's so many reasons for that, but one of which is I don't want anybody to see me. And I love the digital content for that reason. Because I think it gives people an opportunity, especially with techniques like yin or Yamuna body rolling. Those techniques are really about being in your own body and experiencing your own body and having that experiential anatomy connection and being in alignment with what you feel and not what the instructor looks like and not what you look like in the mirror. Yeah. So those techniques lend really well to the digital experience where we can just flip that camera off because nobody can see you.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Really awesome. Yeah, no, it's been really insightful, I guess, into what people are actually wanting and needing more specifically, just to be like, I kind of have an idea, but then because you're seeing everyone's feelings and hearing how they are processing through all of this, that can really affect how your class goes and what you're offering and what you suggest to them for that day. And it can be incredibly supportive because they can turn off the video. They can invite their partner. They can go to their basement. They can do it in they're just their underwear. It's really great.
They can watch it later.
Yeah. They can do whatever they want to. They can be they're like, I don't want to listen to you right now. Bye. Great.
Well, I have customers who've told me that they don't want the full hour, so they just divide it up. I'm like, great. Yep. Or to your point, they, I teach yin and they don't want to lay down. I got some texts from people. They're like, I get up and get coffee in between the poses. I'm like, great. There's nothing illegal about that,
Do what you want. We're just here for I always say this. I'm like, I'm here for inspiration. And I always say this in my class. I'm like, if you want to lie down, lie down. If you want to go get some water, go get some water. And this is in-person classes too. I'm like, I'm not your parent. If you need to go pee in the middle of class, please go pee. Like, you're not going to miss anything.
Yeah, I think we have to undo a lot of cultural conditioning to be able to actually really get the most from the kinds of techniques that you and I are talking about. Because I think as little kids, we were actually trained, listen to the teacher, watch the teacher, do what you're told. Yep. And then we get into that fitness culture piece, and that is heightened. It's amplified by Instagram, and it's amplified by the experience of going to a gym where there's mirrors everywhere, and you don't want to be the one person with your limb going the wrong place at the wrong time. So here we have a chance to I always talk about that too. I'm a guide. There is no obligation to do the same thing that I'm doing. If you don't like it, switch it up. Yeah. Or, I might be, I mention it all the time when I teach, but you don't need to use the same ball that I use. You don't need to do the same, let's say we're doing Yamana body rolling. There's a couple of quad routines. Do the one you like. It doesn't, just because I'm showing routine variation 1 doesn't mean that that's like biblical that we have to do that.
Totally.
And so I think there's a lot of freedom in this moment. And I hope to see that going forward, where we have a lot more integration of real life meets digital. So what's next for you?
So the Super Secret Project is taking up a lot of my time.
Ooh, tell me.
Yes, I'm excited. So I have, this week I've been working on the things that you need, that I think are really important in shaping a project, like mission, vision, values, all of that stuff. It's an ever evolving 8-page document that just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, which is amazing. And working with someone for some branding on that kind of stuff. And then looking into safe spaces, meaning spaces that are not currently available to the public, different studios that are open to having me go into them, set up, and maybe just record some things. So just looking for a bit of variety for myself, and also in the things that I'm recording and that kind of stuff, and just kind of keep on keeping on. My schedule for classes is open for the month of May, and then just to allow myself to make decisions I need to make as time goes on, because some people choose to pay everything all once. They're like, yes, I'm coming. If I give you my money, I will show up.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. And so I'm only offering as far as I know I can deliver these things.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of that stuff. And then I really love teaching the one-on-one stuff for people. So I think I'm going to start just developing that a little bit and talking about it a little bit more. And then just, waiting on the government and
yes, we're all waiting on the government. Who do you think benefits the most from your work?
Oh my gosh, everyone. I know.
That's not how we do marketing strategy, Andrea.
I know. I think I was thinking about it today, and my work starts from a place of prevention. And then 2, it's rehabilitative. So I think sometimes people believe that when you're doing slow movement that's therapeutic, they're like, oh, this would be great for my mother who's 75. Yeah, okay, great. But also you 35-year-old sweetheart who does this all day and maybe you've also had a baby, you need this just as much. And I think anyone who does a lot of physical activity, no matter what your age is, this is all the stuff. It's like your yin and your yang kind of.
Yes.
And all of my work is really developed and meant so you can actually like feel yourself and like be like, oh my gosh, I'm amazing. And you can learn how to create tension in your body to make something feel strengthening, or be like, whoa, I'm stretching my fascia out forever. Like, so it's truly, it is everyone. Obviously it's a lot of the gals, sometimes some of the guys, but yeah, pretty much everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heavy up on people that are kind of 35 plus, and often what triggers people to start is pain.
Yep.
My entry point is we can't progress on anything until we get you out of pain. And so I agree with you that I think that prevention piece is critically important. I was talking this morning in one of my online classes about how, I've done it myself. We have a pain cycle. We're attentive to that pain cycle. And we maintain that for a little bit, the habit that got us out of the pain. And then at some point we're like, I'm fine now. Then you stop, the pain will come back, you respond. And so the work that I do is ideally going to eliminate the pain, but then get you on a track of self-sustaining that and show you how to do that in a way that you build ultimately both length and strength in the body, so that we don't kind of keep circling back and only responding to that pain.
Yeah.
Very much to your point, we have that yin and yang circle, and what most of us feel is only one half of that. We don't feel the space. We don't feel the openness. We don't celebrate, oh my goodness, my shoulder works so well today. Look how open my hands are. Yes. But by actually connecting to those sensations, we can keep ourselves out of that pain.
Absolutely.
So where can people find you?
Yeah, so I am a huge Instagram person because, I'm of that age. So I'm online as elementum.yeg, Y-E-G. So just element at an .yeg. That's a big place. You can find Elementum on Facebook. I don't use it a ton. It's more for updates. And then elementum.ca is my website as well.
Awesome. I am at My Body Couture, and I am all the Facebook. My data shows that I get 100% of my sales from Facebook, actually. I know. So I can be found most commonly on Facebook, although I'm also on all the things. I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram with the same face you made about Facebook. It was amazing to talk to you today, Miss Andrea. We will connect again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Janis.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.